down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy Investors? This is your friend, Bang Bang, Steve VanCauwenbergh, a.k.a. Savvy Landlord, whatever, Savvy somebody. Anyway, hopefully you're doing good. Life seems not easy around the South right now with tons of bad weather. I'm talking negative 16. They said on the news that it hasn't been this cold in Oklahoma since the 1800s. Wow, when you think of it like that. But still, life must go on. You must endure all storms, and you must fight for victory. In everything, in every way in your world, you got to fight. And here's a couple of keys. I don't know about a couple, but I got one thing to focus on today. One person I want to introduce you to. And then something that has been really convicting me for a while about my speech, the way I communicate, the way I handle myself, the way people perceive me, not in a way that I'm like insecure or negative or like I'm worried about what people think. But, you know, to be successful, you got to look at all things. And is it contributing to you and what you're trying to do in this short span of life, right? And one of the things I've learned just recently, I guess I did say a couple, so I'll throw two out there, is if I can go back, was I chasing units or you should be chasing cash flow? And so I'm telling you right now, man, I see people post about, man, I'm up to 60-something units or I got 10 units or, whatever. It really does not matter. It's the lifestyle that real estate provides for you. It's the cash flow. And even myself personally, I got caught up in when I got to 25 units, I just need 50. Now, back then, I was equating it to cash flow. But then I got to 50 and I thought I was going to be retired and then blah, blah. Then I got to 100 and then it just became a pride issue. Okay. And the pride, you'll never win. Okay. It's got to be a calculated mathematical equation that's going to fulfill you in the lifestyle that you want to have. You know, what's so crazy is when you get to a certain point, your assets may even supersede what your daily lifestyle is. And which is kind of phenomenal. And then you just get to do extras, get a little upgrade if I would like to say. But the point is, don't chase units, chase cash flow. And you have to look at each and every unit. Could it sustain by itself? And then also, how much money are you making? Not just sustaining, but if it has equity in that property, and you're just sitting on it, like say you have $40,000 in equity in that property, but it's not making you money. What if you took that $40,000 out and bought a couple more properties or did something else with that money? What return would you receive? So this real estate game is not about just getting units and then just sitting back and I'm cool. It's about really being sophisticated and understanding what it is that you're doing, where you're going. Okay, I think it's critical. And then what's the end result of what you're trying to do? And then just through time, you'll be successful with that. Now, when you think like that, you understand what I'm saying now. It's like I'm thinking I'm not just getting units and then I hope that it would work out. I may have 100 units or whatever, but is each unit performing at the maximum return as a real estate investor? That's the key, is that you are an investor. And when you are a real investor, ladies and gents, you got to speak like an investor. You got to understand what the word portfolio means. You got to understand what debt equity means. You got to understand what NOI means. You got to understand what ROI is. You've got to get this under wraps. You got to learn the language. And if you don't learn the language, how do you expect to progress? So I want to introduce someone to you. This is an author that just passed away a couple years ago. Madly in love with this guy for years. Jay Abraham, if you don't know him, but this guy is kind of like Jay Abraham. I'm going to give you some reference. Jay Abraham in a roundabout way. Or Jim Rohn, but gangster. Like just straight to the T, gives you exactly what you need to hear without all the fluff. And so who I'm trying to introduce you to is Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy, DanKennedy. Now, today I got a microphone stand. I usually hold the microphone and drop it like it's hot, but today I got to stand up, and I'm going to read out of this book. I just think it's critical where I'm at. And I picked this book up a while back, put it down. I've been reading it back and forth. And then I was just kind of thinking about, man, what kind of podcast can I give? What kind of value can I give to the folks out there? And I think something that, the authenticity of, man, I wish I would have known this before. I think a lot of things would be a lot different. So this book that I'm busting out right now, it's just one chapter. It should take me about 10 minutes to read this to you, and then I'm going to give you some commentary on it. But it's No BS, Wealth Attraction for Entrepreneurs. You got to keep in mind, you are an entrepreneur. Sometimes it took me years to realize that. I mean, I'm at least 12 years to accept the fact that I was an entrepreneur. I know that's crazy. And then another, I would say probably at least 10 years as a real estate person to realize that I'm an investor. Now, there's no joke in my game now. I am an investor, period. Let it be real estate, let it be investments, let it be loans, whatever the case be. I know exactly what my identity is. I am an investor. But to get to that point, you have to understand the language. You got to speak it. You got to understand it. You got to communicate it. It's got to be coming from you. It can't just be a fake thing that you just put on your Facebook page profile that you're somebody special, that you're some portfolio manager of sorts. So I'm on chapter 7, page 55. Again, this is No BS, Wealth Attraction for Entrepreneurs, the ultimate no-holds-barred, kick-butt, take no prisoners guide to really getting rich by Dan Kennedy. Now, he's wrote a ton of these books. They're all phenomenal. I probably read almost all of them, maybe 90% of them. I've bought courses from this guy, and I'm a late adapter. I've known about him for almost probably over 15 years, maybe 20 years. But I wish I would have got into his inner circle. It would have been worth every penny. He passed a couple years ago, so for whatever it's worth, hopefully this impacts you. You can shut this off, but I'm going to read and then give you my commentary and then my notes, and I'm going to break it off. I believe this is chapter 7. It says Wealth Magnet 7, Speak Money. I want to make sure that I'm on the right chapter. Yep, chapter 7, page 55. Let's break it off. Most people lack... Okay, here we go. Most people lack poverty, inadequacy, doubt, and fear. You have to be careful about the vocabulary you use because every word or thought, spoken or written, if interdirected, constitutes programming instructions to your subconscious mind. Bam! I'm telling you right now, I know this for a fact. Just last Sunday at Life Church, go to Life Church. You can see this online, life.church. That's the website, no .com, just life.church. Anyway, it's this new series on, mastering your mind, and it's the things that you say. Even the pastor struggles with personal development of just being attacked. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. When you start saying the things, and so I've been trying to get out. I've actually started writing a podcast on depression. I deal with this on a regular. It's not a negative thing, but I deal with it like it's not easy, right? I go up and down in these slumps, and a really good friend of mine said, might take magnesium, or exercise. You read the book Miracle Mornings, and I try to run, but sometimes I just can't get out of the deal, and I think it's self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? I know you're struggling with this. If you're successful at any level, I'm telling you, Mark Cuban probably struggles with this. There's probably some blog somewhere. Someone needs to Google up, find some kind of article about it, because how does he deal with it? But I want to say it again. You have to be careful about the vocabulary you use because every word, thought, spoken or written, if interdirected, constitutes programming instructions to your subconscious mind. Bam. It is overly simplistic to believe that you say in your head, think, and speak out loud, manifest. The title of Napoleon Hill's most famous book, Think and Grow Rich, is slightly misleading. Okay. More accurately, it should be How to Think to Grow Rich. Thought alone will not override behavior or certain physical realities and circumstances. However, it is accurate to say that the way you think about money and language, think about money and the language you use about money matters a great deal. Page 56. It's revealing of the programming your subconscious is actually being directed by, and it's accumulating programming it is trying to respond to. Further, your spoken words convey your relative comfort and confidence or discomfort and fear about money to others. and sales professionals can tell you that prospects smell fear like animals. This is not superstition on their part. Experienced sales pros know it's infinitely harder to make the sale if you desperately feel you must make the sale. That doesn't matter it doesn't matter much one way or the other. Professional negotiators all know that the person who wants it least has the power. These are analogies to all movement of money. Money is naturally attracted to the person most confident and comfortable about it. Okay, so you've got to, I'm telling you right now, I struggle with this. I was actually reading something the other day about, parents speaking over their children, saying these words, and I hope and pray. I don't think I have ever said this to my children, but I know this was said to me before. Money doesn't grow on trees. And so what I tell my children is money is infinite. You just got to figure out how to make it. You got to figure out how to create it. You got to figure out how does it attract to you. But when you say negative things like money doesn't grow on trees, it's just a bad example of just negativity in your mind. And so you've got to really dial in on what words, how do you portray. Now, for me personally, I went through several courses at about 10, when I fell in love with personal development. And I'm telling you right now, you've got to invest in personal development. No matter how much money I make, may it be $100,000 a year or $1,000 a year, I spend roughly at least 10% on personal development, meaning I read books, buy audiobooks, go to Eric Thomas courses, classes, buy them online. It does not matter. You've got to invest in yourself in personal development. You're the number one asset in your family if you are the breadwinner of sorts in life. So you've got to really take it serious and invest in yourself. Don't cut no corner. Don't go to Starbucks. Go to Audible and buy a book. You're worth it. People tend to transfer their money to these same people. When you're talking to others, there's a text and subtext heard by others, conscious and subconscious minds. When you say that you just don't feel good about somebody or about your intuition tells you not to trust to do business with somebody, it's your subconscious processing impressions from sight, sound, and other senses, searching for its files for past information experiences. You can't actually, I don't even know how to say that word, E-N-U-N-C, intuit. You can tell my reading level. You can't actually intuit. You got my word. Realize that when you're around Joe, he often talks in terms of lack, poverty, failure, and fear. So you do not want to buy from him, invest with him, or otherwise be involved with him. But that may very well be what he has occurred within your subconscious mind. So just real simple, right? This overly simple. I'm telling you, start listening to the people you're hanging out with. Just start watching people, how they communicate on Facebook. Like, what is their motive? What are they trying to say? Are they always in the playing the victim mentality? Are they always like, oh, me, why me? Or are they contributing? Are they bringing value to your world? That's what you got to do. You got to look for those people. And it's real quick and simple. And this is where I was real convicted. It was like, what is my language speaking? The words that I'm saying, how does it translate to other people? You've got to take that in consideration for yourself. For all these reasons why you speak about money matters. As an example, consider the term hard-earned dollars. You recognize the term, don't you? Hard-earned dollars. You probably heard your parents say that. Your friends may say it. You may say it or some variation of it without even considering its true meaning. If you translate it to programming, it is that money isn't very hard to get. You get money only through difficult and unpleasant work. If money somehow arrives without being connected to hard work, there's something wrong with it. It's tainted or toxic. It's incorrect and dishonorable to get easy. To get easily. So that's what's so interesting. I feel this just conjure up a ton of emotions in my mind. Like when someone is like successful, I just assume that they didn't do it right? Because it has to be hard work. It does not have to be hard work. It has to be smarter. And I know that now, being at 47. You got to keep in mind, ladies and gents, I don't know if you know me, but man, I grew up with a single mom that worked 3 jobs and I didn't get anything. We didn't have no Christmas. We lived in a single 1-bedroom apartment, and I lived in the bedroom. My mom was so sacrificing and lived in the living room on the couch. Okay. And so, like, I know what it's like not to have. And then later in life, I was actually homeless. A lot of people don't know that. I don't really talk about that so much. It's not a negative thing. But the reality is, I know what it's like to have, and I know what it's like to have not. And it's not necessarily now. There's, you as a wholesaler, you can get a house under contract pretty quickly and then make a $10,000 profit. That was easy, right? So you just got to change your mindset. Start changing your mindset now. Really start the things that your parents have told you, the subconscious things that you've seen online, they may not be what is the reality for you. And you need to dissect that and reprogram yourself subconsciously and be aware of it. Now, consider the phrase easy money. For most people, this is bad. The perception is that easy money is somehow tainted, dirty, undeserved. The perception is that the person always seeking easy money is lazy, bum, or a fool. Ha, I put the word ha. What a barrier. This is tall, wide, thick wall that prevents entrepreneurs from looking for or seeing many great opportunities in their own business lying there within easy reach. I think this explains why a pair of fresh, expert eyes like mine can so easily and frequently see unexploited opportunities in other businesses. It's not just the owner of the business. It's too close to the forest to see the trees. There's a wall you can't see through boxing him in. So true. And I just see that with myself. A lot of people think that I just some easy entrepreneur. I just have trained my eyes to see opportunity. And I just got done with Unscripted from MJ DeMarco. And one thing that really just recently, I'm in the last chapters, like 38 and 37, which I think the second part of his book is bomb. If you are an entrepreneur and all, first of all, that book is off the chain. It's Unscripted by MJ DeMarco, which I've read it several times. I don't think I've ever finished it from start to finish. I've always bopped around. But the reality, the first part is like really gut-wrenching. Where am I at? What am I doing? Why am I existing? Why am I working? But then at the end of the book, the last quarter of the book, I would say the last 6 hours, it's like a 14-hour book. He goes into, real business mechanics. He deciphers Uber and all these. And I remember him speaking about Uber before Uber came. But the one thing that really convicted me just recently was, what value am I bringing to people in my other endeavors? This project I'm working on, what value can I bring to the city? What value can I bring to these bicycle riders, these mountain bike riders? What value can I bring to in the accounting firm? What can I give? Is my business providing value? And again, I learned that from that one book. Sorry, I don't know why we got jumped off on that. All right, now we're on What a Barrier. We're on page 57. What a barrier. If things start to get easy, if money starts flowing in faster and bigger sums than before, the entrepreneur will subconsciously reject it and engage in all matter of self-sabotage to slow the unjust flow. So true. I had it for myself. Sometimes I just can't believe, especially if you hold on to real estate for more than 10 years, just the amount of power and the snowball effect. If you don't touch it, roll it in, and continue. It's just amazing. And this is worth reading it again. If things get easy, if money starts flowing in faster or bigger sums than ever before, the entrepreneur will subconsciously reject it and engage in all matter of self-sabotage to slow the unjust flow. I remember my mentor told me, Stephen, the first 10,000 is excruciating hard cash flow a month. I mean, if you're making net $10,000 a month. And back then I was like just barely making $1,000 a month. And it wasn't worth $1,000 a month that I was working intensely with the 5 houses I had or the 10 houses I had. But then he would remind me, it just gets easier. I'm telling you, after you hit that 10,000 mark, man, things just start flowing. And then next thing you know, you're up to $70,000 a month. And it just starts snowballing. But it's that first grind. It could be 3 years for you, 1 year for you, or 10 years for you. For me, it was 15 years. But when you get to that point, things just start rolling. You just start making better decisions. You have capital. You can invest. I mean, just the other day, I had enough cash to close the deal because my funding didn't come through because some paperwork and somebody got sick and COVID, blah, 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 blah. You hear this stuff from other people, but it actually really happens. A deal doesn't go through because someone at the bank had COVID. I mean, these things just happen. So you got to be prepared. Have other sources of finances ready or have your own cash. Okay, we're moving on. We're at the bottom paragraph on page 5-7. The fact is, there's no reason money has to be hard to earn or earned in hard ways. I've taught thousands of entrepreneurs how to earn much larger incomes more easily. Take my client, Dr. Paul Sherby, who was barely earning a living working 50-hour weeks as a dentist. He now earns as much as 2 months as he used to earn all year, working only 1 day a week, teaching dentists how to create a second business with a dental assistant. Being 58 schools, or consider my platinum member, Yankee Silver, who has developed an internet marketing business bringing in millions of dollars that he operates via his laptop from anywhere in the world with just a couple of hours a day. This seems to constantly be on vacation somewhere, yet yet began barely able to turn a computer on. Or take my client, Chet Rowland, who owns a grunge business, a large pest control company. Thanks to these extraordinary, comprehensive, and effective business system, he operates profitably, grows every year, and provides himself with over $1 million a year, even though he goes to his office only once or twice a month. Chet uses some of his free time to make hundreds of thousands of dollars buying pre-construction high-rise condos in Florida and flipping them before they are built. Actually, that's in a book I read once. Consider the real estate business. Bang, bang. That's why you tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. Consider the real estate business. This typical real estate agent does a lot of manual labor prospecting work to finally get an appointment, to make a listing presentation, to get the right to sell a house. Then does a lot of manual labor showing the house to possible buyers, etc., 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 to possibly make a $10,000 or $20,000 commission. Together, Craig Proctor and Ron Romano, an automated marketing solutions, two clients of mine, literally reinvented the way that business is done by using a special type of advertising, toll-free phone numbers, recorded messages, and websites and other technology to slash your manual labor by half, so that the agent makes money more easily and can make twice as much money from the same number of work hours. As I am writing this book, Craig Proctor is again reinventing the business to further alter the ratio between hard work and income. Another client, Robert Mitten, has succeeded with his own total dramatic reinvention of the real estate business, focusing exclusively on working with investors. So a real estate agent works with 5 clients who buy 10 houses rather than 50 clients who only buy 1. He keeps clients in place buying year after year, some even paying membership dues to the real estate agents club and to permitted to buy. Now, I'm telling you right now, that's the one thing I always try to tell young people that want to get in real estate. Listen, find the people that can buy as many houses as possible, like this guy did, and just keep serving and building a massive relationship with them. I do the same thing with private money. I build relationships with key people that do have money and cultivate that, and that's the same. I don't have to prospect and try to reinvent the wheel and tell everyone in the world that I'm looking for private money. I just focus on the people that I've already built a relationship with. You should do that. If you're a wholesaler out there, just find 5 or 10 people. You don't have to have a buyer's list. Vet them out, call down the list, and boom. I remember when I was learning from my mentor, another mentor of mine from wholesale, he had 5 people on his list. He started from 1, and then by the time he got to me, I was like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 at that time. Do you want it? Because I'm going to call the next person. Boom, I'm on my way. And he made his 10 grand and we all went down the road. All these people are living easy money, or at least easier money, and showing others how to distance themselves from hard-earned dollars. Even consider me. In 1996, I earned $1 million from speaking, which required nearly constant travel. I delivered over 60 presentations during the year and did the writing, publishing, and selling information products at every speech. This is Dan Kennedy. It required a staff person to process all my orders and a vendor to ship my products. In 2004, I earned $1 million from coaching just 5 small groups of entrepreneurs who come to me to meet with me. They require only 26 days of meetings in my home city, plus 16 days of talking on the phone, often while sitting in the sun on my backyard or in my big leather recliner at my library. Counting travel days and speaking days, in 1996 it required more than 2,000 days to earn what only 42 days provided in 2014. And these were considerably easy, less strenuous, and less stressful days. The shift involved changes in my business, changes in my strategy, but also of equal importance, continuous improvement of my thinking, understanding, and even imagining about money. In 2006, I will retain the same income for only 34 days of work. Okay, and so he said something down there that I wrote out on the side, Kani, and that's from Tony Robbins. Just type in K-A-N-I or C-A-N-I, Kani, which is constantly, always, never, or something never, always growing and changing, changing my business, continuous improvement. That's it, continuous improvement. All right, let's see where we at. All right, so we got this last page and a half here. We're on page 60. Breaking free of the work money link has not been easy for me. I was raised to have enormous respect for the hard work ethic. My youth experience taught me that money is hard earned and earned hard. Shaking that view, replacing that thinking is no simple trick. But that link is illusion, not a reality. This is not to suggest that I don't work or that you shouldn't. In fact, I think I work of some kind of necessary or sound mental and physical health. But there's work, and there is work. My platinum member, Ron LeGrand, motto is, the less I do, the more I make, which is a subject that is misinterpreted. It is meant as a variation on the work smarter, not harder theme. Personally, I work at working on my terms, on things that I enjoy, that I'm involved with, that I enjoy, and high-yield opportunity tasks. I coach others to do the same. I'm all about finding ways to make things easier, not harder, to do more with less, to gain leverage. But if you think and speak the belief of hard-earned dollars, you're reinforcing a barrier to doing any of these things. Hard-earned dollars is just one example of hundreds of negative limiting statements routinely thought and said about money. They're all bricks strengthening and reinforcing the wall between you and easy attraction of maximum wealth. Do you have kids? How many times in the last month did you explain to the kids that money doesn't grow on trees? Where does that come from? Maybe you've become your father. Maybe you're simply repeating what you've always heard. It's been programmed in. And now, at a particular point in life, you are rejiggerating it and spinning it back out with no thought about what it's doing to you or what it's doing to the person that you're saying it to. But when you say this, what belief is it communicating and reinforcing? I'm not for spoiling kids, but it's another discussion for another time and place. For now, let's keep the harsh spotlight focused on you. When something like that spews out of your mouth, it came from somewhere. It came from your own mind, your subconscious, your belief system, the recording that plays inside your head. Whatever you say about money is simultaneously revealing and reinforcing. There's a language used by wealth-attracting entrepreneurs. I hear it all the time. I hang out and work with them. Most of my life work. I've been surrounded by them for years. They speak one language. The outside world speaks another. I'm not going to hand you a vocabulary list and list here and suggest you by memorizing it, reading positive affirmation 20 times a day from a 3x5 card. That could be useful, but it's a tiny piece of this puzzle and overly simplistic. Trying to use a vocabulary list won't cut it. The language has to be honest, natural reflection of your beliefs that money and wealth. Everything in this book has to come together to support the changes you choose to make in your own belief system. Make no mistake, what you speak matters, and you can attract more wealth more easily by speaking the language of wealth. So I know that was a little rough, ladies and gents. I didn't practice. I just picked up the book, random. Read this a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, man, I'm going to do a podcast. And today, there it is. So go get this book, Dan Kennedy, No BS, Wealth Attraction for Entrepreneurs. If you want to text me or message me, this is something that you've dealt with before, or maybe we can have more of a discussion on this. I would love to interact with you and know more about you and also how you overcome that. I know personally it's a subconscious thing, and sometimes it rears its negative head, so I have to kind of shut it down. So the only way to do that is to get rid of the toxic people out of your life. It is difficult to do. Sometimes you got to shut off your Facebook. Sometimes you don't have to go to the REI meeting, or sometimes you do go and you have to sit with certain people. But you have to get out of your comfort zone as well. So you got to learn, when you see someone that's doing what you want to do, you got to reach out to them and then learn their language. My name is Steve VanCauwenbergh. This was a long podcast and all rough and tumble, but that's what it is sometimes when you're just trying to make it through. Make it through, fight this storm, and life will be grand on the other side.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.